The Lord has said, "For my soul delighteth in the song of the heart. Yea, the song of the righteous is a prayer unto me, and it shall be answered with a blessing upon their heads." I think I would like to share with the young people something about how such music has been very important in my life, although I am not trained as a musician. Probably the greatest challenge to people of any age, particularly to young people, and the most difficult thing you will face in mortal life, is to learn to control your thoughts. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. One who can control his thoughts has conquered himself. When I was about 10 years old, we lived in a home surrounded by an orchard. There never seemed to be enough water for the trees. The ditches, always fresh plowed in the spring, soon would be filled with weeds. One day, in charge of an irrigating turn, I found myself in trouble. As the water moved down the rows choked with weeds, it would flood in every direction. I raced back and forth through the puddles trying to build up the banks, and as soon as I had one place patched up, it would break in another. A neighbor came through the orchard, and he watched for a moment. Then, with a few quick strokes of the shovel, he cleared the ditch and allowed the water to course through the channel he'd made. "If you want the water to stay in its course, you'll have to make a place for it to go," he said. I've come to know that thoughts, like water, will stay on course if we make a place for them to go. Otherwise, our thoughts follow the course of least resistance, always seeking a lower level. I've been told 100 times or more as I grew up that I ought to control my thoughts, but no one told me how. I want to tell you young people about one way you can learn to control your thoughts, and it has to do with music. The mind is like a stage. Except when we are asleep, the curtain is always up. There's always some act being performed on the stage. It may be a comedy, a tragedy, interesting, dull, good or bad, but there is some act always playing on this stage of the mind. You've noticed, haven't you, that without any real intent on your part, in the middle of almost any performance, a shady little thought may creep in from the wings and attract your attention? These delinquent thoughts will try to upstage everybody. If you permit them to go on, all the thoughts of any virtue will leave because you have consented to it. And the influence of unrighteous thoughts will be with you. If you heed them, they will enact for you on the stage of your mind anything to the limits of your toleration. A theme of jealousy or hatred, it may be vulgar, immoral, even depraved. When they have the stage, if you let them, they will devise the most clever persuasions to hold your attention. They can make it interesting, all right, even convince you that it is innocent, for they are but thoughts. What do you do at a time like that, when the stage of your mind is commandeered by these imps of unclean thinking, whether they be the gray ones that seem almost clean or the filthy ones which leave no room for doubt? If you can control your thoughts, you can overcome habits, even degrading personal habits. If you can learn to master them, you will have a happy life. Now, this is what I would teach you. Choose from among the sacred music of the church a favorite hymn, one with words that are uplifting and music that is reverent, one that makes you feel something akin to inspiration. And remember President Lee's counsel, perhaps "I am a child of God" would do. Go over it in your mind, carefully memorize it. Even though you've had no musical training, you can think through a hymn. Now, use this hymn as the place for your thoughts to go. Make it your emergency channel. Whenever you find these shady actors have slipped from the sidelines of your thinking onto the stage of your mind, put on this record, as it were. As the music and the words form in your thoughts, the unworthy ones will slip shamefully away. It will change the whole mood on the stage of your mind because it is uplifting and clean. The baser thoughts will disappear. In due time, you will find yourself on occasion humming the music inwardly as you retrace your thoughts. You discover that some influence from the world about you encouraged an unworthy thought. It moved on the stage of your mind, and almost automatically, the music began. Music, said Gladstone, is the most forceful instrument for governing the mind and the spirit of man. I am so grateful for music that is worthy and uplifting and inspiring. Once you learn to clear the stage of your mind from unworthy thoughts, keep it busy with learning worthwhile things. Change your environment so that you have things about you that will inspire good and uplifting thoughts. Keep busy with things that are righteous. Young people, you cannot afford to fill your minds with the unworthy, hard music of our day. It is not harmless. It can welcome onto the stage of your mind unworthy thoughts and set a tempo to which they dance and to which you may act. You degrade yourself when you identify with all of those things which seem now to surround such extremes in music: the shabbiness, the irreverence, the immoralities, and the addictions. Such music as that is not worthy of you. You should have self-respect. You are a son or a daughter of Almighty God. He has inspired a world full of wonderful things to learn and to do, uplifting music of many kinds that you can enjoy.